Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're going to use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to IsraeliteBot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
All right, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom. Greetings to all of my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house. I welcome you all this morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. You know, the funny thing is that our bread and circuses have been the movies and other forms of entertainment. But what we have to understand is that all of these entertaining things have been distractions upon distractions upon distractions for the ultimate distraction. Now, it's not to say that these distractions are not without merit, but it is to ask yourself that at the very, very end, you have now issues with budget, and now you have things going on in the Middle East, things with China, things with Russia, things with Africa. It's just it's so much of an implosion that's going on that your mind is just moving at breakneck speed, because it's going to be hard to comprehend everything that's taking place. I always had asked, if they're wanting us to look at this, what do they have us looking at in the background? That's a fair question. What am I supposed to be distracted from? Well, the distractions are from the reality. In less than a week, you now have tariffs that's getting ready to hit full throttle. You now have issues going on with many embassies and embassy closures. Because why? They want a taxation to try to pay off some of the debt, and they're not going to be able to do that. We don't know. And honestly, I really don't know what and how things will happen. I'm not sure that you're going to have a 32% or 38%. I don't think that that's going to happen. I was thinking about that because I know somebody had said, well, it's going to be about 38%. Well, it's 38% for the highest earners even now. Now, if you're in, if you are in, let's say, states like California, where you have a stifling state tax, oh, you're gonna get hurt. You're going to be massively hurt, especially when you're in the higher income, or excuse me, higher tax states, which are your democratically run states. So you're going to be paying higher taxes. However, you may be a little more safer per se in terms of federalization or activities of the federales, federal activities. Or you're going to be paying lower taxes and you're exposed to more activities of the federal system. And that really has there's now going to be a time where our people are going to have to literally see and understand what it was that these immigrants were going through. Now, I did not want to. I wasn't laughing in jest because I knew where we were going to end up. I mean, That was no secret on this channel. I understood where we were going to end up and where we were going to be at and who the main goal was. So that's not anything that I was, playing at. What I was playing at on this channel was that you had a people that were so against black folks. Don't get it twisted, of the Cuban community here in Florida. I've worked with Cubans for decades. Shoot, my first babysitter was a Cuban. I laugh because that was one of my first languages, was speaking Spanish. When my mom worked in South Florida doing migrant health, they called it migrant health. Now, understandably, at that time, the Cuban community at that time was not the same Cuban community that you have at this time, because they came off the boat and they had to get really matriculated into the system so they could understand how their position of power in the realm of white supremacy was being nested. Everybody has a position of power in white supremacy over the black community. It's just that it takes them a few years to understand and realize that power structure, because in the words of Kendrick Lamar, yeah, we are not the same. However, when they realize that they're not the same and that we had traditionally been the step stool, they started to figure that out. They started to understand, well, if they're the white people's victuals, they're stepping stones, they're playthings, and that's going to be ours too. And then we started to let them know, no, you got it twisted. They have you here to bring you into their illusion of inclusion. Now they're getting that. Now they're starting to see that. Now they're understanding. And now they had the sad sob stories. Black folks, we need your help. Oh, no, 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 no. No, get that merengue. Get that salsa. Get that baracha. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. No, 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 no. Get them sambas. Bachata. Get your Gloria Estefan on, because we done told y'all. I would play that. I can't play that here. You know, I'd get hit with copyright strikes and all sorts of things. But now, just located, it's about 2.5 hours for me. I am thinking about visiting Alligator Alcatraz. It's right off of US 41. At least get into the area. I was thinking about doing that this weekend. If I do that this weekend, then it will be kind of a live stream event, but I will need to have your support to do that. Because honestly, I'm a little curious about seeing that myself. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little curious about seeing it myself. It's about a good 2.5-hour jaunt from me. In between, really, I would say it's right there between Naples and Miami or Fort Lauderdale. It splits between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Okay, Dade, Collier. Yeah, Big Cypress, west of Miami. US 41, 10 Miami Trail. It doesn't even show up on Google Maps yet. They just have it as Alcatraz. Hasn't even been updated. So I know where that's at. Again, that's about 2.5, about 3 hours. And it's located on an old airstrip. I won't break down. I'm good. I wouldn't even be suggesting it if I didn't believe that my vehicle could make it. So you all let me know if you want to support my trip going on out there. I will be awaiting your responses. You send me a Cash App and you just put alligator trip, I will get up on out of here and go. I hate to put Red on the spot because Red loves to sleep in on his Shabbat. Because Red be working and they work Red like a dog. You have to understand a lot of the IT, Red is in IT, so a lot of the IT jobs and companies, they're getting ready for this whole turnover event. This is the turnover event. And just like a majority of IT that you're seeing, now it's you've graduated out of a job. Like some wayward women saying that they graduate out of their marriage. AI graduated people out of the job, and I was looking at that in terms of the different engines, the macros, AI-inspired technologies, things that. Well, if you have AI, then who are you going to have that's going to do the work? Because AI can then oversee AI that then oversees AI. Then So now we're left here, and I shared this article, but before I share this article, I want to bring this on up. This is lawforlove.com. This is the Constitutional Town Hall Birthright Citizenship Analysis. I have made the post. It's on the community tab for Covenant Awakenings. And I have the link in the chat for those that would like to sign up. That's going to be from 2 weeks from this Shabbat, 2 weeks from this Shabbat, 2 weeks from this Saturday, July 20th. Sister Shar has been hosting an amazing, I would say, summer series. And when you visit the website, the admission is free. But it's recommended a one-time donation of $10. And your donation to the Law for Love Legacy or Living Legacy Charitable Trust. It is tax deductible, and it helps to provide the most reliable legal information, skills, training, and legal toolkits for working families to build, preserve, and protect the wealth of our culture and future generations. Oh, that's a good one, Sister Shaw. Oh, that's good. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. There you go. Put that right there on the screen. Now, if I take several people with me, that's when you become a target. 1 or 2 people, you're going to be all right. Have a gang of folks? Oh, no. That's because you have to understand everything is very, it's interesting. Now, a lot of people use the Everglades to fish. That's actually one of your best places to catch a good variety of fish. You have airboat rides. So it is actually very scenic in nature, and it actually is very touristy in nature. The good thing about it, for at least me, is that I have family over in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, which is like an hour away from that location. So if anything, at least I have some backup that could be there within an hour. But yeah, those are the traditional swamps. Those are the Everglades. Yeah, but going back to here, these legal toolkits, the skills and the training. Look, as I said yesterday, nobody here should ever feel that they are not powerless. Matter of fact, you all should be empowered with the amount of brain trust knowledge that we have in our group to help to serve one another. This is the time now that you need to be thinking about a trust, a living trust for yourself so your family is protected. Everyone here, including myself, is at risk. I was already working on this back in March. And believe it or not, I was already working on this back in 2020. If you do not have a plan, a succession plan, you better get one. You better get one so wherever you're at in the world and you have internet access or you need internet access and you can log in and get to your stuff, that's where you need to be. Because that's going to be a shame on you that you did not prepare. We've hosted Invest in Africa seminars. We've hosted different events and activities to at least get people established in some form of fashion. I've always said it. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to believe me. Pray about it. But everybody was distracted. Now that all this stuff is going down, have you noticed that they did the verdict for Diddy? Diddy do nothing. Diddy do nothing. I said they're going to do the verdict when things are getting ready to go down, and look at that. Right here, 4th of July. Because why? Because everything here is well orchestrated and formulated. This is your bread and circuses. Scandal, the scandal, the scandal, the scandal, the scandal, the scandal. Everything is scandalized. Right as they're closing down embassies in Africa. Everything's scandalized. Right as they're trying to limit travel to a continent that's beginning to understand who they are and that's beginning to understand how they are empowered. Oh, we definitely can't have Negroes going over there. Are you kidding? Because when they go on over there, they'll tell them how the game is. They'll explain to them how the house rigs the cards, how their house rigs the roulette table, how the dice are loaded with magnets. Do you really think they want us to go on over and expose the cheat codes? I don't know about you, but I was born here. And I know that that's the very last thing that they want from us. No, we don't talk about land ownership, not here in this channel. And we've never pushed that or supported land ownership. You can go to other channels and say that if you'd like. I'm not stopping you. But that's not going to be here. So what I do talk about is economic development and critical infrastructure. What I do talk about is how we're able to go and move as a group to develop industry, businesses, how we have to understand diplomatic engagement to work as a group, to move as a group. How to utilize the subject matter experts that we have amongst our people. And understanding how to not put the cart in front of the horse, which has caused a lot of issues. But enough of that. Let me go back into this again. The law for love, the Constitutional Town Hall, birthright citizenship analysis. That is in the chat, and that's also in my community post. Please spread the word. If you're able to give a love offering, awesome. If not, it's still free. Admission is free. You never know who you may be able to save with just a little bit of information. Now, going into here, this is July 1st. This is Trump tax brackets. Will your tax rates change under the new plan? And so it's given a breakdown. It's from Patrick Villanova, some sort of certified something, and then edited by Marie White, some sort of certified something. And they're going down to the taxes, the key takeaways. And from here, they're showing that at the pre-2018 tax brackets, the top rate was 39.6. Current tax rates are between 10% to 37%. And then you're able to see the tax rate. This is the 2025 tax bracket of what things and how things look. So if you're between let's say that you're going to be generally between in a six-figure salary range, a lower six-figure salary range. You're going to be looking at between 22 to 24% for your tax rate. And of course, that tax rate gets adjusted depending on how you file. If you're married, single, or head of household, things of that nature. So just to give you that understanding. Now, the tax rate for those that are wealthy, it tops out at 37%. And that's down from about 30, they said here earlier, 39%, something like that. 38, 39%. So it's about right. Nothing really changes unless you're really a a top earner per se. But again, you know, it's all relative. Why are they fighting against the bill? Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I don't have time for foolishness today, and we don't have time for foolishness. You know, if your moderators on out there, I give people 1 or 2 times showing up, but then when they start saying something stupid, I boot folks on out of here. We don't have time for that. When Ice picks him up, and he doesn't know what to do, then that's his fault. It's just like I tell my students, I can only teach you. It's up to you to use what I'm teaching to help you on out. That's it. You have to live your life. You can live your life with understanding wisdom and using that wisdom and knowledge and understanding to better yourself, or you don't. It's up to you. It's actually awesome how the Most High moves. He's like, all right, I'll give you this information. You choose. Now I'm just going to throw it away. Because, Father, I need your help. Why didn't you prepare when you had all those other times? Well, I didn't think. What they want you to do is not think. What they want you to do is not understand. What they want you to do is get wrapped up in all of these different articles on out here. They want you to be wrapped up in these sketches of Diddy. Laying out, kneeling as a late 50-year-old with all sorts of gray hairs because he's on trial. Now, he got off. Folks wonder how he got off. Folks wonder what dirt and other things that he dished. Remember, he was on a quote unquote suicide watch. I think he was saying, "Hey, I won't spill any secrets. I got a dead man switch on this." Over in my place in one of them Caribbean islands. He said one of them. One of them. You may not know which one. He wasn't able to get on out to Indonesia like Russell Simmons. So he had planned a little bit. Hey, look, it is what it is. Man, I'm sorry. It was really The drawer full of cabinets of all the stuff that was there. Oh. $56. 56. Uh, I'm not gonna read that. But I'm gonna put it right. Ah. Oh my goodness. Y'all can read it right there. I'm not gonna read that. Oh my goodness. But in reality, what that did was it had blemished everything. Who wants to sign that record deal? See, they used to do stuff like that in movies, and it'd be like, oh, that never happens in movies. And then everybody's talking. Nah, that messes real life. Everybody was saying it. Nah, that messes real life. So now we're starting to see how this is being exposed. Because there's going to be something getting ready to happen. What's happening? Honestly, we've talked about that earlier here on this channel. Why all of these smoke and mirrors? Iran closes its western and central airspace to all passenger aircrafts until tomorrow. That was 21 hours ago. Now, here's some different inferences that I can probably state. When you have the air traffic being diverted like that, because they give you lanes, they give you corridors. And the reason that they'll give you lanes and corridors is because, honestly, they don't want you to see something. I flew over that Eastern Mediterranean nation many a times. They'd always say, make sure you close everything. For me, I was that hard-headed person. Like, nah, I'm gonna see. Let's see. Let's see what this thing's looking like. Most of the times I flew over, it was at night. They do that on purpose so you are limited. But it was one time I was able to see when we flew over during the day. No, I don't think it's aerial photos of devastation. No, I'm going to tell you this. Because remember, this is just they had just closed this. Let me show you this. It was 21 hours ago. I don't think that that's the case. Let me get back to that tab. Here we go. Iran Observer 21 hours ago. They already had the photos. They already had the satellite pictures. But to me, the reason that this was taking place was more than likely a couple different things were happening. Potentially some inbound Russian aircraft was coming through, or Chinese aircraft was coming through. They had already been negotiating that with China. They could have been doing some modifications to rockets and missiles. They could have been testing things and testing triggers. And they could have been doing it in a couple of different areas. So anything that was even low yield, or causing a low yield in any of their ranges, wouldn't necessarily be detected, especially if it was done above ground. So that wouldn't trigger any type of geological sensors. However, if you are flying some satellites, remember why they said they got rid of GPS? GPS has satellites. So what are they doing? They obviously know whenever that vector, whenever that nadir of being able to see what's being seen in Iran, they know what do they call that? It's like the satellites trajectory or flight path. There's a technical way to say it. They know how the satellite goes over. And depending on the satellite's movement, more than likely they know when the satellite is able to go over. They know when it's able to pass or who's passing, things of that nature. And then again, a lot of that information is very, very classified, and they're getting that from Russia or China. So that's what I can infer from just a little bit of my intel knowledge and understanding. They're doing something outside of the eye of the satellite during that time to bolster their forces. So now you're seeing this is another gear up. It's another provocation. Well, why are you directing all these flights? Why are you directing all these things? And in reality, I remember the last time I did fly to UAE and Qatar a couple times. I would fly around that trajectory that you see that was west of Iran in that eastern area of Iraq. Just as you see the yellow planes, the yellow icons that represent the planes going over. As you fly on over, you go through a little bit of Turkey from the Mediterranean, and then you hit down into the Persian Gulf over into your destination, either Qatar or UAE. You're on the water. So while everybody is thinking about Diddy and what's going on with Trump and everything else, like I had said, that Eastern Mediterranean nation is gearing up. But don't worry about the Eastern Mediterranean nation gearing up. Worry about the big, beautiful bill. You got to remember, this is their last chance. They're going to have to throw everything in the kitchen sink for this nation to survive. You're looking at survival. This is survival. Do you think that a nation just wants to die? Do you think that they want to see biblical prophecy being fulfilled and then be made out liars? They're going to do everything humanly possible. Keyword, humanly possible, to stop what the Most High has literally already ordained. And all we're going to do is just look at them fall magnificently. How else can you explain it? They're already doing that. You need to jump on board. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to get on our tariffs, and you need to buy this. You need to buy our bonds, and nobody's buying bonds. That's why they have to push up the bond rate, because nobody's buying them. Well, let me give you this. It's going to be more attractive. Let me give you that. It gets to a point in time to where your bond rate becomes so high that they know that's never going to get paid. Oh, you don't like 4%? How about 5? How about 6? How are you ever going to pay that back? Don't worry about it. We're going to pay it back. When you try to offer more than you can pay, what is that? That's actually default. I can pay my credit card bill, but I'm really not going to be bringing in the resources to pay it. I don't have the income to pay it. Now, if you think about it, all of our income is based off of debt. The debt that this nation incurs. Every last bit of our income. Because why? Because now you're seeing why they have to do robots, cheap labor, cheap goods. Because why? Well, if they're going to try to, quote unquote, eat some of these tariffs domestically, Well, what does that mean? Maybe Trump was right. Maybe Trump was telling the truth that these companies are going to eat tariffs. But we didn't really think the way that the companies were going to eat the tariffs was going to be to lay off en masse one of the biggest expenses, and that's payroll. I don't need to have human hands. I can have robot hands. Warehouse automation. So all the MAGA folks that have voted for this, they actually voted to not have a job anymore. And when you don't have a job anymore, guess what's going to end up happening? Well, you've done, asked, and invited yourself to become a police state. This is from The Nation. July 1st, from Chris Lehman. Trump's big bill is building a big police state. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party's floundering over immigration leaves it without an opposition strategy. Because why? Because there is no strategy. You don't have two parties. It's a unipower party. Same bird. At least Musk got something right. Two wings on the same bird. They're floundering. Yeah, right. No, they're encouraging this. It's political theater, showmanship. They want this to happen. They're expecting this to happen. They're planning for this to happen. So when you get out of line or you say something that is not within their scope of allowable criticism, well, then you're just going to get sent to the swamp. Do you want to know how many of our people survived the swamps? I don't think they really understood what Florida was all about. If you actually knew the history of Florida, they didn't really know what Florida was all about. Our folks have always survived in the swamps. They don't know about Great Dismal Swamp. They don't know about here in Florida where our folks came down here and was in them swamps. Yeah, we may get shook by a couple alligators. We may get shook. But guess what? Then we realize, okay, just backstroke, backstroke, backstroke. Backstroke. If you ever dealt with an alligator, alligators don't, they're fearful. We're a little bit different. Now, for the other folks, oh yeah, that could be a little fearful. Because why? Because them in nature don't agree like that, especially here. I'm just saying. It's a difference when you have the complexion for the natural protection. Just saying. I've been around all sorts of wildlife. You know what? You know how crazy it is to be stepping on things and you don't even realize that you're stepping on something that will send you behind to the hospital. Stepping on all sorts of poisonous snakes here in Tampa. Leaning up against trees that have all sorts of poisonous snakes. Oh, that's the pygmy rattler. Oh, I gotta stay away from that one. We don't have an innate desire to kill everything that we see. I'm just saying we really don't. We'll have an innate desire to go away. And guess what? They'll go away. If you chase, then guess what? You're going to die. You're going to get deleted. Our nature isn't to try to chase and conquer. It's really not. Oh, I could try to do this and do that and make some natural protection. That's not our nature. You know what we'll do? We'll pick up some grass, we'll string some straw together, and we'll make ourselves a covering, a hat first at a reed to get some shade to survive. We know how to shade ourselves. We know how to survive in these climates. We don't try to hunt everything that we see. The only thing that we will do, we'll catch some fish. And that's simple. We'll catch ourselves some fish. We'll understand how to use the land. Those animals hear you. They stay away. Look, these warthogs that are all down here, Wombat, they'll stay away. I'm always out in these woods. I am. I'm in these woods. Seeing wild turkey, which are down here. Look, I'll catch me some wild turkey. Cool. We'll catch ourselves some quail. Cool. They're all around here. We'll figure it on out. So those threats, for us, remember, Our people ran away to the swamps. Oh, you got alligators. Okay. As long as you ain't feeding the alligators, guess what? The alligators aren't coming up to you. Now, these alligators that are up here where I'm at in Central Florida and things of that nature, you got people feeding them like crazy. And then they get used to coming up to a person. You better feed me or I'm going to eat you. And that's their fault for doing that. Yeah, Sister Leela, I'm on those trails too. I do. I like getting out in the trails. I like getting out in this nature. And I'm about to do that here in a little bit because when you have these little tropical lows on out here, it gets all nice and dark and you have the dark skies. Because here in Florida, it stays sunny for like literally 11 out of 12 months. And no, that's not just here in Florida. You know how many times I done stepped over rattlesnakes, have had all sorts of poisonous spiders crawl on me in the desert, both in California and Arizona. They don't mess with you unless you turn your attention to them to try to kill them. Then they're going to kill you first. They're going to strike you first. And yes, that BRICS meeting in Brazil is going down. Yes, David. That BRICS meeting. It's all coming to a head. Let me go into this article here. All right. So, amid all the frenzied MAGA agaprop. Well, that's a big one. And bold face, he said bald face line. Where is this at? Sometimes I don't even think these people, I'm trying to figure out which nation is this? Are they just trying to be so, scholarly or smitten with language that these folks don't even really use English language that well? Bold face, or he said bald face lying, that have marked the final stages of Donald Trump's signature domestic policy bill. It's been easy to lose sight of its transformative policy agenda. Much of the controversy spurred by the sweeping legislation concerns its evisceration of healthcare coverage, a stunning $1 trillion in combined cuts to Medicaid, the state-based program funding healthcare access for low-income Americans and allied coverage to poor patients under the Affordable Care Act. But the bill, which emerged out of its Senate reconciliation session in a blizzard of votes to amend it on Monday, also erects a permanent immigration police state. A permanent immigration police state. So here we go, with more than 150 billion and outlays to expand the horrific surveillance, detention, and rendition regime created under the Lakeland Riley Act. The measure will carry out Trump's pledge to make the terror wreaked by mass immigration and customs enforcement officers alongside federal and National Guard troops in Los Angeles, the standard operating procedure for immigrant roundups going forward. So immigrant roundups going forward. That's what he's saying. That's the target. No, the target is all American citizens. The target is all American citizens. Oh man, brother Eric, thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. Brother Eric's trying to send me on down to to Alligator Alley. All right. What will come on in by Friday. So then I will schedule the live on that Friday. So then I go through there on Saturday. It will be Saturday morning. I like to get on out early in the morning. It's easier for me to drive in Florida. But that's what you're seeing. Remember, they were recalling all of the vehicles. Remember, all these MRAPs, these mine-resistant, armored personnel vehicles. Those are MRAPs. Remember, they were being repurposed for what? For this? Because why? Because you're going to have a police state. Because why? Because you're going to go to war. Because why? Because this is going to be the war of all wars. Because why? Because America's going to be going down swinging internally and externally. Swinging. So as it goes down swinging, then guess what? When people are talking about all those FEMA concentration camps and things of that nature. Richard Long, go out to the bush on the Karis Copeland Q2A tours. Yo, you know what the funny thing is? I had already had my little setup. Y'all gonna laugh when you see how I roll down there. Y'all gonna laugh for real. It's it's gonna be interesting. I listen. I'll put my cash app on up there. I said, look, I'm sorry. It tickles. This is the things that tickle my fancy. I am that person that I will make that trip to go and see stuff like that. I like to put my eye on the ground. That's what I do. Now, do you think that facility is going to be bigger or increase? Absolutely, it will. But why? Why is this going to happen? Honestly, to me, you have that facility because that facility is an easy jump off to go to El Salvador, to go to Cuba, and to go to other parts of the Caribbean. I don't know about you, but to me, that is going to then be the reverse transatlantic illegal immigrant slave trade. That's my thought process. Yeah, that's why I want to go. And as I do so, I want to make sure that you all are seeing what I'm seeing Because if y'all see something go awry, y'all need to contact an immigration lawyer for me. So that's what helps me to support these endeavors. There's a lot of logistics and administrative things with this. Y'all better understand, I look at all the risk and everything else. I tell you, I am a risk professional. I need to make sure that I have an immigration lawyer. I'm going to have to order me a MAGA hat. Yeah, I'm here to make sure I can see how great America's becoming again. See these illegals, and boy, this is better than nothing better than seeing the 4th of July here. All right. All right. All right. Just making sure. I'm just making sure I can see my tax dollars at work. Oh, you were born in Miami, Florida? You were born in Dade County? Oh, then you're definitely a Haitian or a Cuban. Hey, man. I don't like where this is going, man. No, you need to understand, man. I don't like where this is going, man. You don't understand. I will vote for Donald Trump. Listen, Poppy. I'm sorry. I do that. That's what I do. Hey, Holmes, I was born in Southeast Dade. Southeast Dade County. Oh, you are definitely a migrant worker. All right. Be sending me back to Mexico. Do I look Mexican? You see all this curl in my beard? You see all this curl? Do I look Mexican? This ain't no do the right thing. I'm black. I'm black. Yeah, you're black, and your black behind needs to go back to Dominican Republic. What? You need to go to Port-au-Prince. That's where you're from. No, I'm here to get me a black job and pick some of these tomatoes. See, that's why I'm here. See, I'm gonna have all my excuses on point. Oh, my bad. I got turned around. I'm looking for East Dade or West Dade Collier Farms. Yeah. I'm trying to make sure that I I'm here reporting for duty on these farms. I'm here to pick me some tomatoes, strawberries, bananas, you name it. They said that I could do it for $50 an hour. I said I'm there. Let me stop. Let me stop being ignorant. Let me stop being ignorant. No, I am being that serious though. I am. I am. That is my intent. Thank you, brother Eric. Because yes, that is something that I will be knocking on out. Now the funny thing is that in my family, especially over in Southeast Florida, Fort Pierce, Fort Lauderdale area, we were traditionally the migrant workers back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That's how my family got here to Florida. My family was originally from out of Georgia area. So that's why I do have cousins in Georgia. And that's on my dad's side. So, but just letting you all know that's my intent. That is my intent. I will go live. I'll put that live on out there. If I go live, it will be around, it'll be early, like about 8:00, 8:30. Because I'm not going to be there for long. I'm not going to be just having a tent and chair set on out there and, walking the premises. I ain't going to be there like that. I'm going to be there, get out the car, take a few pictures, not take a few pictures, just walk around and report and go from there. And I will have to be careful because you are going to have them folks on out there protesting. And, if I see that, then I'll just stay in my car. But then what I'll do is, I'll show you, from the ground there, or I'll get out of my car, at a safe distance and show you the protesters. I'm not going to interview anybody, any of that nature. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh, Father, forgive me. So yeah, that's why I'm putting up my Cash App right here, depending on things, so I can make sure that my vehicle is in good. It's roadworthy. It'll be worth it. I just want to make sure everything's topped off, just in case I have to get away and I have to roll through the mud and the swamps. Just in case I get chased off by ICE agents. Diddy, can't you see? Sometimes the ice be hating on me. And all I can see is immigrants' flashy ways. Guess they don't have the cops no more, but that's okay. I'm at US 41 west of Miami. Oh my goodness. Who wanted ice? I flaunt it. As the ice folks are chasing. I'm trying to do a music video here. Can you all just turn the sirens on and I'm just gonna, have the picture of I'm hanging halfway out the window. This is a music video for I Will Vote for Donald Trump. Remix. Remix. It said I will vote. Oh. Oh my goodness. He said, I love it when you call me Big MAGA. A deportation flight in the air if you's a true player. Oh, sorry. Mm. Yeah, it looks like Florida's going to be the main jump off spot. And alligator belt. Oh my goodness. Man, I'm telling you, this is it's funny, but it's really not. So I am going to be doing some, reporting on the ground. It is a tropical disturbance here in Florida, but I think it's kind of more towards me. That's why I'm going to leave a little earlier. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Doomer. So, also, have you heard about the executives at Palantir, Meta, and OpenAI are in the Army? So they probably have them at like a strategic. The reason why they're at lieutenant colonel levels is because that is your strategic elements. At 04, you become a strategic communications. You also have a strategic, yeah, you do strategic intelligence. You can actually do foreign area, things of that nature when you hit 04 major. So they probably have them in some sort of strategic communications. And they're doing that obviously over at the Pentagon right now. So why are you going to have Palantir, OpenAI, Meta? Because they're implementing Skynet. So, what are these distractions? To continue to limit civil liberties, to continue to create more, I would say, dysfunctional levels of where people don't understand reality. And it's going to be hard for people to truly understand reality because of how this situation is working. Too many distractions on out there. Was the Diddy thing their last card with the black community, quote unquote black community, African American, African diaspora, the community at whole? I think you may have had more folks watching and looking in at Diddy because he has an iconic status. For us, it was kind of like, okay, well, he's going to go down. But it's a distraction for them. See, you have to understand, it doesn't matter if they're distracting us. We're not the target on these distractions. We're not the target of these distractions. These distractions are made for them. We'll see. Throw them bones. Throw them their excuse bones. So then they can say to us, see, well, look at what happened. He didn't get the RICO, but he did this, he did that, he did this. Okay. And why do you think that is? Because they're going to push everybody into augmented reality. See, when you get people into augmented reality, the more that you can then create that space where people don't know the difference between what's real and what's virtual. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to slowly get them assimilated into the Borg. That's all that is. Hey, it's me. I'm just in a metal suit. Hey, it's me. You know, you all should have realized that that's what they wanted to do when you all first saw RoboCop, especially RoboCop 1, 2, and 3. When they had that Surrogates movie. Nah, they want to upload you. You get born right into the Matrix. I used to watch back in the day, you know, that first real scary movie that, you know, when you're a child and you see those movies and it's like, wow, that was, as an impressionable child, that was real scary to watch. It was real scary to see and understand. But I used to watch that movie called The Thing, you know, with Kurt Russell, and then it incorporated people's bodies. And I used to say, man, that's the scariest thing ever. I can't believe that. I can't understand that. That's... And then another movie was Leviathan, where that would incorporate, you know, people's bodies and everything else. It's like, oh, ooh, that's so scary. And now we're looking at this thing in real life, and it's like, whatever. Because it looks cool. You're not getting eaten by a machine or, by a pseudo fleshy thing that's going to just continue to expand you. No, you're just going to voluntarily get that. You're going to voluntarily say, okay, incorporate me. Okay, cool. I can hang out with friends in Meta. Sign me up. And now that's like, it's so sad. 30, 40 years later, it's sad. Man, put me into the collective. I used to be kind of freaked out on Star Trek with the Borg episodes. Oh man. You mean I gotta put plugs and everything else in my body and things running outside my body, and resistance is futile, and that had me freaked out as like a preteen. Now these folks are on in here. Hey, let's augment stuff. Let's try to get you downloaded. Let's try to get you on this lollipop to get you on the baseline platform. So then we can start doing all sorts. Don't you want Wi-Fi in your body? No. Don't you want to make your body tokenized in the Internet of Things so then you can start getting rich off a passive income? No. Whatever you do gets tokenized, and when you get tokenized, you make money. It ain't worth it. Oh, don't worry about the new upgrade. That new upgrade, you will be assimilated into the Borg. I'm good, thanks. Now, here's that actually where that's going. The Matrix was the best. You're a battery. Well, I honestly believe that that's always going to be the case. Because that was really the best way to subdue, quote unquote, humans. Remember how they would say that the year was 1999 in the Matrix? This was the year at 1999. I believe that when people get assimilated, this is my personal thought and opinion, it'll be 2019. Yep. Lion Pride 2019. That was it. Look, 2019, everybody was living their best life. For the most part, by and large. Late 2018, early 2019, everybody was in their best life. So, can that happen? Will that happen? Honestly, the word does say people will be what? Wishing for death. So, yeah, so we're going to see how this thing goes. And yeah, I didn't want to be on very long because I had some things going on here with getting stuff together. But thank you, family, for your support. keep me up in your prayers, because I am going to go on down there this Saturday, this Shabbat. When I have everything together, I am going to have this listed as, like, a Covenant Awakenings, a special report, live from out, from near or outside Alligator Alcatraz, something like that. So, but yeah, just want to make sure that that you all are definitely keeping me in your prayers. I don't like to, I'm not new to this, being in definitely austere conditions that can pose a threat, to immediate circumstances, environment. But you know what? Like I said, I believe that we should definitely know. So, as I stated again, you can support this endeavor that in less than 48 hours, Brother Karras, with your support, will be heading over to US 41. And the funny thing is that, so the way it's kind of weird, US 41 rolls parallel to 75. And then when it gets to I think it's Naples area, they finally like converge. So 41 it runs basically west of 75. So it won't take me much time to get there. I will probably run into some traffic just because of different things. Because people are going to be talking about it, and the president literally just visited this past week, I think like 2 days ago. So going down there and seeing it, I want to get there early, and as I get there early, go from there. So I will definitely be bringing my dog with me. You got to have protection. My dog does bite work protection for a reason. I'll see if anyone else will come through. But I'm being summoned away, family. Again, thank you for your support. I'm still deciding if I'm going to come on tomorrow. Because the whole Kenya thing is very, very interesting. Jacoba was touching out on that yesterday, and I didn't touch on the whole thing in Togo because a lot of these stories that's popping up on the internet, I have to vet them, especially when it comes to YouTube. So those are the things that I have to really truly consider. All right. So with that said, though, I do have to run. Again, thank you all for your support, and thank you all for supporting the other platforms. Faith and Fitness by Garth. I appreciate you all supporting. Brother Garth is getting ready to launch an ebook. Thy Written Word. She is on TikTok. Sister Fatea, she has launched an ebook. She also does leadership training, and that is very, very pivotal, especially as we're working on these different endeavors. We have to be well-rounded as we are working with our brothers and sisters on the continent. And we have to be out of that mindset of that the oppressor mindset, which we all have to some degree. But we really do have to be cleansed of that in a very, very serious manner. Next week, I will be on next week, I'm going to really dedicate that to the container. So I'm working with the government of Burkina Faso, and we're getting that taken care of in terms of finalizing efforts. This is it. This is the big push. This is from the community. And if you don't think it's a big deal, I've been telling you this, especially to a nation that is very, very influential, actually one of the most influential nations on the African continent right now. And we have a container of medical supplies on its way to that nation. Y'all want to stay silent? I was telling you, y'all want to stay silent. And look at what the Most High did. I didn't do this. I didn't go to the Supreme Court and tell Trump. I didn't do any of that stuff. Look at what the Most High's doing. This is what we have been charged to do in this time. We have to come together as a people. We have to talk to people. We have to let our voices be known. Don't hide your light. Don't do it. These are the efforts to support. And our brothers and sisters in Burkina Faso, they are so excited and they're looking forward to this moment. It's hard to describe how big of a moment this is. It just truly is. We're here at this moment. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how else to tell you it. You can hide, but the reality is that when it catches up to you, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? Because that's what a lot of people want to do. They hide. And then you understand that when you're hiding while the house is on fire, you don't get killed by the flames first. You actually get killed by the smoke inhalation, by the carbon monoxide, and then you get burned up. So the choice is always up to you. And that's why I say pray about it. I'll put the link to there so you all can grab it. And you all will be able to share it. This is now the time to share. Again, if you all are just coming in, Sister Shar is hosting on July 20th. On July 20th, Sister Shar is hosting the town hall. Oh, I'm going to put that link in the chat real quick again. The critical constitution considerations. Sign up right now. Thank you, Glenn, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Hallelujah. Here are your links. Please share your links, family. There's almost 300 people in here. Please share. One's for a donation for the container, and one is for an event that is free. All Sister Shar asked for is a love offering, $10, that goes towards the education, the training, the toolkits for our people. That's going to be on July 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. July 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's 280 some people. There should be at least 600 or 700 people. It's a free event. Because now folks are getting forced to wake up. I told you that. And when folks are forced to wake up, they're going to start getting violent. That's what they want. But we need to educate our people. Don't give them what they want. We better sit back and stay in the cut, just like Iran. Sit back, stay in the cut. Okay? Y'all were the ones that swung first. I got you now. Y'all swung first. Back up. Get off me. Get off me. I said, back up. Back up. Get off me. Get off. Oh, my goodness. All right. Yeah, I definitely have to get going. So with that said, family, most high willing, I may be on QTUA tomorrow. Please share these links. We have 2 weeks, family, 2 weeks. These are pivotal, critical weeks. We have to accomplish these goals. We got to get these things done. This is for the community. And I'll talk more on this next time. So again, with that, for those that do want to support my trip going down to at least around Alligator Alcatraz, US 41, I will get on out there. Achopee is the actual name for it. Achopee, as I believe it is. Well, I'll figure it on out. So with that said, family, most high willing, I'll see you all soon. With your support, most high willing, you all will catch me on Shabbat, early in the morning on Shabbat, as I report. With your support from the vicinity of Alligator Alcatraz. Hallelujah. That's that, family. Shalom, salama, siemi, shalom. Peace and blessings. Yasharel.